Ricky Byrd and the Skeleton Crew. Very nice, very nice. Man. Come on over here, Rick. That was a song called "Things to Learn About Love." Also off the album Lifer. That the first song we heard, "Let's Get Gone," was Lifer too. Great job, Rick.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
It says you were born in the shadows of Yankee Stadium.
Right up the block, man.
Oh, no kidding.
Woody Crest, 1035 Woody Crest Avenue. I used to play handball off the stadium
Oh,
wall.
really?
Yep.
Wow. So now, did you go to high school around there?
I lived there until I was about, I'm going to say 13, 14. Then
no
we moved
kidding.
out to Queens.
Oh, wow. All right. So you're a New Yorker through and through, man.
Dude.
So
Neil Simon with a skull ring.
Yeah. I like that. No, I must say, your resume is impressive. You've played with Keith Richards and Daltrey and all these guys.
I never played with Keith.
No.
I would love to play with Keith.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would, right?
Yeah.
But, you ever met him and dealt with him?
That's going into the devil's den, though. you
Yeah,
know?
no, that's true. A lot of people, every book you read, they're like, I was just reading something, one of the Stones books, about why Mick Taylor left the band. And he was getting into Keith Richards' world, which meant heroin and everything, and he had to choose living or dying. That's why he left the band.
That's why most of us stop.
Right. Did you have an issue with that?
Yeah, I just celebrated 26 years sober last week, man.
Man, good for you.
Yeah.
I'm someone who would love to have that. I'm an infant compared to that, but I've had my issues, man.
Day at a time, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a matter of like looking in the mirror one day and just going, I think I've had enough.
Well, yeah, exactly. Is that what happened? I mean,
yeah. I mean,
you felt you hit bottom.
I think it was pretty close to bottom. I mean, the thing is, I was 128 pounds.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I mean, I was 128 pounds of Peruvian pink.
Wow.
Inside drug joke.
Yeah, no, wow. Jeez, my God.
So, it was just time to stop, and it's been, I mean, my people that I loved growing up were like William Burroughs, Keith, Errol Flynn.
Right. Guys,
all junkies,
great artists were junkies.
Junkies and drunks.
Right, yeah.
So when you start playing rock and roll, I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with rock and roll, but, you think it's supposed to be sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Right.
And if you have an addictive personality, I mean, there's plenty of guys that did it when they were,
Sure.
17, they stopped.
Yeah.
But I have an addictive personality,
Me too,
I'm addicted to more.
No, me too, man. I'm the same way. I finally learned that about myself. Did you ever read Junkie by William Burroughs?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I read that and it was so personal. And so, I hear everything you're saying, but it seems like you have a blast now, though. Do you think you missed? It seems like you have so much fun doing what you do. It's amazing.
I had fun back then too, but I don't remember any of it.
But it really seems like you're having a good time. It's great to see.
It's a great third act so far.
Right.
I mean,
good for you.
I was reading Lenny Bruce, man, when I was like 13. I read his book, and I loved his skits. And when I got sober, I realized that whole bit, obviously he was ahead of his time, but the whole Lone Ranger bit, don't thank me because I want to thank you every goddamn day.
Right, exactly.
It made more sense when I got sober. It's like, now I'm understanding the bit.
That happens, and you think the direct opposite is true. You think, no, I get this, man, because I'm messed up. I guess you don't. You get it when you're like, I reread a lot of stuff in rehab. One of the things I reread On the Road in rehab because I had read that when I was all messed up, and I reread F. Scott Fitzgerald stuff, and I reread some William Burroughs stuff. And you feel more in touch with it.
And you know what? It's the only, as for me, it's the only way to go. I mean, my life is like turned around like crazy, and it's not easy. I mean, life is a bitch sometimes, but
that's hard, man.
The thing about being sober is like you're part of a club, it's like a gang. So one person helps another person, and it's just better. I'm not saying it's not a freaking day at the beach every day, but
it can be rough, and you do meet some shady characters.
You meet shady characters,
don't have your best interests in mind at all, but you gotta weed through it.
I know one time I went to a meeting, and I won't mention what kind because that's against the thing.
Right.
And some lady had her pocketbook ripped off. She went to the bathroom and she's like, "My bag, somebody take my," and I'm like, "Lady, you're in a meeting. You got junkies and thieves and pirates in here."
Exactly, right. No, I know.
We're all at different levels.
You can't leave stuff laying around.
You can't leave stuff laying around.
Was a contributing factor to some of the debauchery, was that the Joan Jett and the Black Hearts era? Were things pretty crazy?
The 80s were pretty rough.
Yeah.
But like, well, rough,
You know,
like a great success, but rough. Yeah, right.
Well, it was a big, I mean, it was a major, I mean, I don't have a clue what's going on now because I'm not in the loop, but it was a major cocaine decade.
Right.
And I just like Jack Daniels straight up. Like Sinatra said, you know, I'm thirsty, not dirty.
Were you guys just on the road all the time, just going
We were on the
nuts?
road. I mean, I Love Rock and Roll I joined the band in '81. We recorded the I Love Rock and Roll record. And we went on the road. You know?
That was as big as a hit gets.
That's as big as a hit gets.
Yeah.
And I was already, you know, a guy that liked to drink and partake. And then the one thing about it, when you're famous, guitar companies give you guitars for free, and everybody wants to get you high.
Right.
You know?
Oh, absolutely.
When you're in between, you know, when your career's in the middle, you can't get anything.
Buys you anything, yeah.
Nobody buys you a freaking
Well, that's
sandwich.
exactly what happened to me. I had an issue already with $20 in my pocket. Then I got some money and success, and now I had 10 G's in my pocket. And forget about it. It was like, you know, I'm glad I'm alive. I'm lucky to be alive. You know?
Let me tell you something. This says it in a nutshell. We were in London doing Top of the Pops for I Love Rock and Roll, and McCartney was on.
Yeah.
This is a legendary Ricky story. And, you know, he came over to me. I was standing on the side, and he said, yeah, he was with Linda at the time. She was still around.
Right.
Obviously, or he wouldn't have been with her. But anyway, I digress. So he says, I love rock and roll, you know. And I said, I pulled out like a 20-pound note, and I said, Paul, please sign this for me.
Right.
And he signed it, and I went out that night. I was down to my last 20-pound note, and it was about having another drink, and I looked at it, and I went,
wow.
oh, the hell with it.
Yeah.
So there you go, man.
See, that's it. That's, my God. That says a lot. That's his great stories involving sobriety, addiction, rock and roll on so many levels. I mean, so many things. But you're still here and you're doing it and you're kicking ass. And are you on the road a lot now?
Well, with these guys here, this is the skeleton crew right here. This is
Great job,
Scarlett
guys.
Rose, Sean Murray over there. And
How long have you guys been together?
About 4 months now.
Oh,
Really?
Wow, jeez. Sounds
So
great.
it's
guys.
new.
Thank
You guys are tight.
Yeah, we're
being
new. I
so
mean,
new.
the record came out about 6 months ago, and then I had to put a band together. And Sean played on the record. Scarlett was introduced to me.
Sean is the bass player.
Sean is the drummer.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He played on the record. And Scarlett was introduced to me, and
Scarlett, that's an incredible looking bass right there.
That's cool.
I've never
Thank
seen
you very
anything
much.
like
Nice,
that.
good.
This is cool.
good. You guys could pick out furniture on Tuesday.
It really is. I mean,
He's
yeah,
free.
it sounds great too.
He's free.
Yeah.
No, it is. He's very into cool basses.
Yeah.
I'll say.
And obviously, he's a dandy dresser.
No, absolutely. That's rock and roll right there. Not too many other jobs you can dress like that.
Everything I learned was from Mr. Peanut.
That's good.
Salted or unsalted? That's what I want to know.
No more salt. Don't get have fun anymore. No.
So I put the band together, and the thing is, there's a lot of stuff on my record. You know, I played a lot of two-guitar stuff.
Oh, okay.
A guy named Bob Stander played on the bass and co-produced it with me. And then, you know, it was recommended to me. Somebody said, I mean, it's really expensive these days to go on the road.
Right.
And I paid for the record myself. So
Wow.
I said, somebody said, do a three-piece. And I was like, wow, man, it's like keyboards on the record. There's like horns. And they said, no, it'd be really cool to do a three-piece. I said, how am I going to narrow down the guitar parts? So we got together and we started fiddling about, and you know, it took a couple of rehearsals, and now I just
You need 3 good guys is what you need.
Yeah.
you need 3 good guys, and you have to really edit. You know, you got to
yeah.
take all the non-important stuff out of it, and
And that could be hard to do, I'm sure. You know, as a musician, I mean.
well, it's interesting because you would think it would be hard, but as soon as we started rehearsing, the non-essentials fell by the wayside automatically.
Right.
And you know, if we go on the road and we make some good bread and everything goes good, maybe I'll get like a keyboard player, like a honky tonk Leon Russell
if
guy.
you can, why not?
And strippers and
Well, there you go. Now you're getting into some real important money. As a comic, I always give you guys credit, musicians. I mean, I literally just need a clean shirt and I go, and I need a microphone that works and whatever. But it's a lot of dedication in what you guys do. It's lugging the stuff around and making sure you take care of it. It's like it's got to be like another appendage almost.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
It's a tough road, but I mean, you see how I'm smiling up there.
Right,
You know,
I'm
I mean,
sure.
a lot of people. I mean, there's no guarantee of any money, but in the world these days, there's no guarantee anywhere, right?
Well, no, of course.
So you might as well do something you like.
Well, you talk about your story with the 20-pound note with
Paul,
McCartney.
Sir Paul.
McCartney, yeah, and it made me think of I was when I first started making some money. I was in L.A. at a a pawn shop, and I was looking at some old stuff that I
Pawn or porn?
Pawn, P-A-W.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Because that could have been the other way too. And a guy showed me a saxophone that
Right.
Charlie Parker had sold.
Oh, wow.
To his father. I guess just he needed heroin or whatever. The romantic story wants to go. But I didn't buy it, but I held it. And I'm like, God, how hard was it for him to get rid of this, maybe, or he probably sold a lot of them. But it was after he was famous, so he got more money for it, and he was like using all these different saxes to sell them because now it's a sax played by Charlie Parker.
Yeah, I mean, you do what you need to do. I mean, I've had to sell guitars in my career, and I don't think of them. I'm not that. There's a few like that. That blue sparkle that I'm using over there.
Yeah, was that a gold top that you painted?
No, that came out. They made them in blue and red in '74.
Oh wow!
I mean, I'm a Gibson guy.
Yeah.
That should get me 1 or 2 guitars.
Yeah.
But
so that's the original paint on.
Yeah, that's the original blue sparkle, and that guitar was with me throughout most of the Blackheart, the later half, like the "Hate Myself for Loving You." Actually, it was in the video.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite guitars.
Still talk to Joan Jett?
I mean, I don't, only because we're in different circles. I mean, I took my daughter to see her at Coney Island 2 years ago just to show her what I did.
Okay.
And they were great. Everybody was great and friendly and stuff. But we're just in different, orbits.
I hear you.
Right.
But now that I have a record out, I'm sure we're gonna pass somewhere. Maybe we could do some gigs together and.
That'd be great, man. Be fun to see.
Music.
You said you were a baseball guy too.
Oh,
right?
dude.
You were into playing. Are you a fan now? I mean, are you keeping up with
like I told him before, I'm watching knock hockey, man. College knock hockey is the new big thing.
I don't know. The Yankees are, again, I don't think they're for the faint of heart as a fan because they make you hate them sometimes, even when they're good because they get so corporate. But we've been spoiled as fans the last the Jeter era, if you want to call it that.
The Jeter era, and
I mean, they're never not in the playoffs now. I think they're going on the downslide, and it's hard to root for them.
Yeah, but you know what? Like I have a very my line in the sand has been drawn about baseball. I don't really care about the politics or how much money they make.
Right.
It's like what happens to me is, like I said, I grew up by the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a special connection.
It's a special connection. I mean, I have memories of sitting on Tar Beach on the roof in the summer with my grandfather, listening to Yankee games, and I'm talking about Mantle, Maris, Whitey Ford.
Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, I was like 9 years old or something like that, and going to my first games, and I've been going ever since, if you could imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
Bobby Mercer was a really good friend, and his wife Kay, and actually she took me to Old Timers Day. This is what's funny about musicians and baseball players.
How long ago?
This last one.
Last one, okay.
So she was downstairs doing her thing, and then she brought me up to the Yankee suite.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there, and all of a sudden they all walk in at once. And like, if you want to see a guitar player turn into a 12-year-old. Yeah, I mean Pepitone and Lou Piniella, and they all wanted to meet me, and they were all friendly, and I got great pictures like Gator, and I mean, I was just, the hair was standing up on my arms.
That's my group, the 70s, Piniella, Guidry,
Guidry, and somebody came over to me
Nettles.
and said, Ricky Henderson's agent came over to me and said, Ricky would love to take a picture with you. And I said, I looked up, I said, Grandpa, you'd never believe this. It's and those guys, like I was, the whole '90s thing.
Right.
I know Bernie and Paul, and I would go to a different stadium. there was like 10 of us, and every year we'd go to 1 or 2 stadiums. I remember we'd go to Boston, so I'd call Mercer up. I'd say, where are you staying? I say, oh, hey, Ricky, how you doing? And he'd tell me, and we'd book in that hotel, and then we would just be like. And I remember, I was just talking about this. I was checking in, and Mariano was standing for me. It was his first year.
Wow.
No way.
And I knew who he was, and he turned around. I said, could you sign this? He was the sweetest guy. He was a little skinny little guy.
Yeah, it was really good,
But we would just go to
Yeah.
we would just go to the games, and they would see, and we would say, like, where do these guys hang out? And I would say, well, let's see. When I'm on the road, I go to the mall in between gigs. And we went to the mall, and they were all there with their families.
It is hard to kill time.
It's hard to. Well, you either kill time, drinking all night, or you go to the mall.
No, I know, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Wow.
The man is Ricky Byrd. The group is Ricky Byrd and the Skeleton Crew. The album's Lifer. Come back anytime, man.
I appreciate it, man. I love your comedy, and this has been a pleasure. And it was great to play like that. I mean, this is the first thing we've done, the TV show.
Thanks. Well, again, come back, man. He
Awesome.
sounded great. Much luck to you guys, okay? Ricky Byrd and the Skeleton Crew.
Thanks, brother.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.